Welcome back to our reStart principles. How do we know what God is doing? How do we know what He is saying? One of the things we can do is we can take a clue from nature. Sometimes when we see things happening, God doing things in nature, it's a clue for us of what He's going to be doing going forward. Let me give you a few examples out of the book of Exodus. Exodus 10:22. So Moses stretched out his hands towards the sky, and a total darkness covered all Egypt for 3 days. 3 days of darkness. Here comes Jesus. Remember the 3 hours of darkness with Jesus? There are 3 days He was in the tomb. There's a hint sometimes of things to come. Exodus 10:19, and the Lord changed the wind to a very strong west wind, which caught up the locusts and carried them into, where? The Red Sea. Oh, who's the next thing that ends up in the Red Sea? Pharaoh's army, right? So hold on, if God, the God of heaven, can take locusts like they'd never seen before and uproot them and put them into the Red Sea, is it that hard for Him to do it with Pharaoh's army? Pharaoh should have got a clue from some of the natural stuff that was going on. Sometimes we need to get a clue from some of the things that God is doing in the natural around us. So that's a tip. To take a look and see, well, what is God doing? It's good to read scripture, and it's good to have other good news sources that will feed us truth. But for that, obviously, we have to have discernment, and we have to make sure that we don't just collect a version of the truth that suits our view of the world, that keeps us where we are. Watch what God is doing in multiple realms. Watch out for fake news. But get a clue as to what God might be doing from what you see happening in the economy, what you see happening in terms of globalization, what you see happening in terms of major changes in the world, the trustworthiness of nations. Some nations are proving to be untrustworthy. The strength of relationships. Where are things going for the future? I sat with a group, 2 groups actually, of entrepreneurs recently, and we brainstormed what are some of the opportunities that come out of this crisis. I have 2 full mind maps on that topic, because we try to understand the times. We try to look at what's going on and say, okay, God, is there an opportunity for greater service coming out of this crisis? Is there something that we can look at as we see what's happening in the natural, in the economy, in media, in healthcare, in governments? What are the opportunities for your people? How can we see what you're doing through just some of the more natural things that we see around us? Keep your eyes open, keep your heart open, and look for the opportunities to serve.